What are you telling yourself that is not serving you? There are so many times where we are inventing scenarios in our heads or inventing outcomes that literally are never going to come true. And yet, those invented outcomes keep our actions from moving us forward. We start taking actions based on those invented fictitious outcomes instead of taking action first to then go see that new result. Today, we are going to talk through what are 5 myths that you are telling yourself that are keeping you from a positive change. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the What If It Works podcast. This is episode 76, where we are going to hit that reset button on your brain. So many times we get stuck in a mindset that is not serving us. And even if we get ourselves out and start to feel a positive mindset, usually we go right back into the same actions because we are believing that we are going to consistently get the same results. And so today we got to break that cycle. We've got to dig into what are those 5 myths that might be holding you back from creating a positive change at work, in your life, in your health, in your relationships with your kiddos. What is it that you want to see change with, and what might be holding you back? And let's actually start right there. I want you to take a second, if you are not driving, and close your eyes. What is it that you want? Episode 73 and 74 and 75 of this podcast talked all about the new year and setting yourself up for success. But I have a feeling some of you have already given up on some of those actions because you just don't believe that you can get the results you want in 2025. Where do you want to see change in your life? Is it at work? Is it at home? Is it with yourself? So often we think of our lives as a culmination of everything going on around us, instead of thinking about it as our own and us having full control over our own thoughts and our words and our actions. And so how can we step into that belief and kick some of these myths to the curb? So the first one is one I hear so often. So if you don't know me, hello, my name is Ann Vogt, and I am a culture coach and a motivational speaker. And when I work with people, we are really creating a thriving environment where they believe they can have the best experience and thrive, and so can their teammates. And early on in the process, there is usually someone who will tell me, and this is great, but I can't do this. I don't have the time. I am here to tell you that is a myth. I have really started taking a deep dive into where I am spending my time during my day. And let me tell you, December was a little embarrassing because I had found where my phone would tell me how much time I spent on my phone during the day. We will not announce that number on here, that average per day, or how many hours I was spending either scrolling on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. It was unhealthy, okay? I would have told you that, oh, I did so much in December, but I just didn't have time to do it all. That's a lie. I had a lot of time. And so now in January, I'm really trying to take back my time, set my phone down, put it in another room, literally like turn off all the apps and walk away from it so that I can truly get what I want out of 2025 and create that transformation in 2025 without the distractions. And so I would also have told you months ago that I just don't have time in my day to go for walks. I don't have time in my day to listen to a positive podcast because my life had kind of gotten off the rails and I was no longer in control of my time. I have read so many books in the last year because I stopped watching TV at night. That used to be a thing where Brian and I would connect, was at night watching TV. it was not serving me or us or our relationship in any way, shape, or form. So me going into the bedroom and reading a little bit and going to bed earlier has served me so much in January already. And so if we tell ourselves we don't have time, we don't have the resources to make change, these are just us placing excuses in front of what we want so that our brain can go, see, we don't have to do the hard thing because we have all these reasons not to. And so we need to kick that myth to the curb. I can't do it. I want you to think about something you have done in the past that maybe your past self would have told you, I can't do this. Maybe it was something in athletics where you really wanted to achieve some level within the sport that you play. And at some point in that journey, you were like, I can't be the best. I can't score a goal. I can't shave a minute off my PR. And yet you did it. And so what did that take for you to overcome that? What did you need to do in order to stop the cycle of I can't do this and get into the mindset of I can? So I get it. There are excuses all around us. We can lean into those and find comfort, or we can brush those away and go find growth. So it is up to you. But I want to tell you right now, if you just simply made the decision in your mind, I can create change, I can change in this way, you are going to have totally different actions that spur out of you because of that new belief. If you have not heard me speak, I do talk a lot about how beliefs drive our actions and even unconsciously. And so if you can really get rid of that myth that you can't do it, hold on to the belief that you can, you're going to see how your actions start to shift on their own based on that belief. Myth number 2 goes hand in hand, which is, Anne, I might believe I can do it, but I always chase the shiny new thing and I never get what I want. Or I always get excited to start and I never finish it. Same, friend, same. I have notebooks and notebooks of ideas that I went all in on for weeks, days, months, that I thought, oh, this is it. This is it. And I did not follow through. Does that make me a failure? No. Is that something I have a tendency to do? Yeah. So I need to look for evidence on when did I go all in and accomplish something that I really wanted to accomplish. I didn't just say, oh, this is a shiny new thing and I like it and I want to kind of do it. What was it that I went all in on? And what did I need to finish that thing? Now, for me personally, it is accountability. If you look at my life and the different things I have achieved, there is always something held over me keeping me accountable. I'm in a writing accountability group where every Monday we are getting together so that this book that I have talked to you about and that I have been dreaming about for years comes to fruition, because I know when there is accountability, I am going to show up. Now, we could sit here and analyze, why is that, Anne? Why can't you just say you're going to do something and follow through on your own? I don't know, and I don't want to spend time to figure that out right now. There's a lot of weeds we got to get through in order to figure out why I need accountability, and I don't want to spend my time there. What I do want to spend my time on is what works. And for me, that is getting an accountability group or an accountability partner that is just as passionate as I am to accomplish this goal. So that's me. Maybe for you, you just need to be reminded of your goal. You need to put that Post-it up on your mirror in the morning. So every single day you read it, you see it, and you believe it, so that the actions you take throughout the day get you closer to that goal. Maybe it's a tracker on your desk if you have a business goal. Maybe it is a tracker next to your bed if it is a daily goal, a health goal that you want to accomplish. Whatever it is that's going to keep you moving forward and stop you going back to that cycle of I never finish anything, right? In episode 75, I gave you some ideas of trackers and calendars that can keep you accountable to that goal and keep you looking at what you need in order to accomplish that. Now, I want to take a quick time out because a lot of my podcasts are focused on workplace culture. And you might be thinking, Anne, how can I create a new workplace culture and how can I track that? And what am I going to do about that? I want you to think about, if the culture was to change, what would I see? So just picture, what would I see to know that the culture is starting to shift? And that is what you track. Is it people engaging in your meetings? Is it people engaging as you walk in a door and they are now asking you, how are you doing? How was your weekend? Instead of you coming at them all the time, right? Whatever it is that you want to create within your culture, I want you to think about what you want to see and start tracking your actions based on what you want to see and the results that you're getting on what you want to see. And again, that is where we can really start to focus on the right things, which we're going to get to in number 3. So number 3 is, and even if I try this, even if I change, my circumstances are not going to change. I hear this all the time, that people get stuck believing that they are a victim to their circumstances. And they believe that so hardcore that even if they see a glimmer of what they could do on the outside, they're so rooted in that belief that their circumstances won't change, that then they'll fall right back into that cycle, or they won't even start, because it is such a block for them to realize, my circumstances are what got me here, and me changing is not going to get me out of these circumstances. And I'm here to tell you that that is a myth. Because here's what happens when you yourself take ownership over your beliefs and therefore take ownership over your actions, your mind starts to look for new things. So instead of looking for ways that you are stuck in your circumstance, it will look for new opportunity. If you have not heard me talk about your reticular activating system is a part of your brain that seeks out information you tell it to find. And so right now, you might be telling it to find reasons or ways that you are stuck in your circumstances. But when you start to overpower that belief that I can create change and I can create a better circumstance for myself, your brain will say, okay, where can we find that? You will all of a sudden see new opportunities. New opportunities will be placed in front of you that maybe were placed in front of you months ago, but because your belief was, I can't change and nothing I do is going to get me out of this, you didn't even see that opportunity. The example I give a lot in talking about your RAS is, if I am looking for a new house and you are not, and we are in the same car, I am going to notice every single for sale sign, because that's what my mind is looking for. And you are not going to notice half of those because your mind is not seeking that information. The same goes when you are looking for ways to change your life and change your circumstance. When you start seeking that information, placing it in the back of your mind that maybe I could have a new circumstance, you're going to start seeing opportunities. They are going to literally light up in your brain, because your brain is going to be looking for those. I really want you to believe that to your core, that when I change, new opportunities will come my way. When I create a positive shift, new opportunities will come my way. Maybe you're stuck in a work environment that's really toxic and you're like, okay, Anne, I'm going to go become this awesome leader with a positive growth mindset, but I still work at this crummy company. That is a choice. And so when you get in that good headspace of, I am growing into a leader, you are going to find that new opportunities are placed in front of you. I used to belong to this group called the Toastmasters. And within the first year of us doing Toastmasters in this local business, the people attending Toastmasters were getting promotions within the company or finding new jobs, which would be a promotion in another company. And we thought, why are our members all leaving? And it was because they were growing and they were looking for new opportunities to advance with their own skills. They had a belief now that their skills mattered and that they could learn and grow and continue to do that. It was incredible. So as hard as it was for our Toastmasters group to consistently be losing a member maybe once every 3 months, we were so proud of the people and what they were accomplishing to go out there and spread their wings, because they had this newfound confidence in their ability to speak clearly and communicate in a way that got people excited and to lead other people. It was beautiful. When you start to make a shift, your circumstances will change. And when you believe that wholeheartedly, you're going to start seeing it. Now, another big one when I am in a large group, another big block and another big myth that a lot of people attach to, like really hard attached to, is it doesn't matter if I change, my employees won't change. And that is probably, out of all 5 of these, the biggest falsehood that you are telling yourself. Think about someone who helped you change your life. Think about a coach, a mentor, a friend who believed in you more than you believed in you. And what happened when you were around that individual? Did you want to be better? Did you act more confidently in that area? Let's say this was a coach believing in you. Did you find yourself wanting to go out there and try your best because you knew this coach believed in your skills? Absolutely. And that is what you are going to turn into for your team. When you start growing, when you start shifting, they are going to be watching this and they are going to be wondering, what is different with Anne? What is going on? What is she doing? What is she drinking? What is she reading? What is she listening to? Because she has become a different person, and I want more of that. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple things. This might not happen quickly. And so you might be saying, Anne, I've been on this growth journey for the last 6 months and nobody's joining me. That's okay. Think about what you can be doing and showing that would get them excited to take similar actions as you. But here is the real truth. There are so many people out there who do not believe, like yourself maybe, that they can create change. So they're in your shoes in myth number 1 or myth number 2. But now they're going to have someone in their social circle that is changing that myth in front of their eyes for themselves, for that person. And they're going to be watching going, that's not the same version that I saw 6 months ago. And they're going to look for, what are you doing? What is bringing you joy? How are you acting? And it is going to rub off on other people. Now, I will tell you, there are going to be a few people who push so far away from you because they are scared that they could never get this. And we need to be okay with that, because that is reality. There was a time in my life where I pushed myself away from people who were learning and growing in a positive way because I was self-conscious that I could not get there. So I don't want you thinking that we're sitting over here in la la land where everything has always been positive. That is not true. And for you to believe that other people will not follow your example, I'm here to tell you that is so false, because they will see it and start to believe it for themselves. And without you showing them a new path, they may not ever believe that that new path is possible for them. I always say with students that they really need you to believe in them first before they can believe in themselves. And I now believe that for everybody. I believe that for the companies that I coach and the managers and the CEOs that I have conversations with. If your people don't believe they can change, then they won't change. And so you need to build that belief in them that they have the ability to do this. And you do that by showing them, by modeling that to them, how you have changed. And you don't talk about it like that. You just go take action. Use those words, use your beliefs to sprinkle upon them where they see the possibility. And the same goes for myth number 5, which is, it doesn't matter what I do, Anne. My management above me is never going to change. And let me tell you something, friends. I have been in a situation where I had very different ideas as my management team, we'll call them. And I started doing things a certain way, and I had to stay focused on me, because if I focused on what they were telling me to do and what the students wanted me to do, we were getting nowhere. And so I needed to go all in on my belief, which was, when I believe in kids, when I set kids up for success, when I help kids feel confident, they will want to achieve, and they will want to try, and they will believe in themselves in the future. So I had to get rid of all of my kind of trickle down management that was coming my way, and I needed to focus on my goal. And I once had a principal walk into my classroom and say, I don't know what it is, but something's different in here. And I was like, yep. And he said, are you doing this? And I was like, oh, no, that was one of his management ideas. Are you doing this? Nope, that's not what I'm doing. Are you doing this? And it was all the things that he had expected us to be doing. And I was like, no, I'm doing my own thing in here, and it looks like it's working. And it was. And there was a moment of, oh, maybe I can impact the management above me by them seeing the results and seeing what they wanted to have in their team and in their employees. But they weren't going to change until they saw a new result taken with new actions. And that's what you get to do. If you are sitting there telling yourself, and it doesn't matter if I change and grow, my management is still going to be stuck in their ways. What if it works, right? What if it works? What if you start doing new things with your team, and you see more productivity, and you see more efficiency, and you see more energy and teamwork and creativity coming out of your group? It's going to get noticed, and they're going to see it, they're going to question it, and then they're going to believe it's possible for other teams. But if you stay stuck that nothing I do is going to matter, you're right. That's a Zig Ziglar quote. If you believe it will happen, or you believe it won't happen, you're right, because it really is all about that belief. And I promise you that when you start to consistently make change and do it selfishly, I'm out here telling you, you get selfish. Instead of thinking about what your team needs, what do you need to thrive? What do you need to be a better listener? What do you need to be more positive at work? Go take those actions first, because you're not going to be a better listener if you are stuck in a negative mindset. You are not going to have energy if you are stuck in a negative mindset. You need to take care of you and selfishly do what is best for you to start to thrive. And then you can grow that next layer, which is now, how can I positively impact others? But if you don't start with yourself and you focus on other people, it will not be authentic, and it will not work, because you'll be constantly worried about everyone else instead of you and your needs. And you can't help other people until you've helped yourself. That is where people will become magnetic to what you're believing, what you're doing, and what you're saying, so that they can model it for themselves, and they can have that same thriving, fulfilling life that I know you want, and you want it for others. Start with you. It'll spread to them. We have to eliminate these myths. You've got to break them down. I want you to think about how you can make positive change yourself. And what if it works? What if you take the next 4 weeks, 6 weeks, go all in on you? What do you need to get more energy? Is that more sleep? Is that turning the TV off? Is it turning off social media? What do you need to walk into work tomorrow with a smile? Is that grabbing a fun cup of coffee before you go? I recently was telling somebody that I'm doing all these little challenges from my bingo card, and they said, oh my gosh, how do you have the time to do that? And why are you even doing this? And I was like, I want to create more fun in my life, and I find fun doing new things. And so why wouldn't I create a system to go do new things in my life, knowing that it brings me excitement and energy and joy and curiosity? And that fuels me to be a better mom, to be a better business owner, to be a better spouse. Do what works for you to get you in that headspace to truly create change, and then watch how it impacts other people in such a positive way. Thank you so much for being here. I want to let you know that I have started a blog over on my website. So, very similarly to the podcast episodes, there's a blog episode. There is a blog article that matches the podcast episode so that you could have something to share quickly with your team, your staff, a friend. In case they're not podcast listeners, I'm very aware that I have so many friends and family who say, I'm just not into podcasts. And so I thought, what if I could take the podcast content, put it into a blog that somebody could read in 3 to 5 minutes and still feel energized, like you got energized today on this podcast episode. So check that out. Go to anvote.com and click on blog, and you can find the articles there. It just started in 2025, and so there are only a few blog entries there. I think you'll find them helpful to refer to quickly, especially if you're getting your journal out and you don't want to listen to the whole podcast to find all the steps. You can go read quickly and complete the journal entries at the same time. So if you enjoyed this episode, if there was a myth that you were like, that one's mine, Anne, let me know what that is, and let me know what actions you plan to take to get yourself out of that spiral. Comment on this episode, or you can always send me an email at impact@anvote.com, and we can start a conversation all about those myths and how you can break through to get to that version of you that you know is going to serve yourself and others best. Keep going out there and creating change, and who knows? What if it works?